compensating me for my education, and you're not compensating me for my experience.
Well, you know what? Then you don't have to do it. I mean, the simple fact of the matter is, the simple fact of the matter is this.
Teachers do it because they love it.
Well, that's good. Well, then,
I do it.
well, and listen, and teachers go into it knowing what the pay scale is. Teachers go into knowing all that.
That's New Jersey's Governor, Chris Christie, all fired up about state unions. The Republican governor meeting some opposition to a plan that will cut union pensions in order, he says, to save them and hopefully restore what he calls fiscal sanity to the state. Steve Sweeney is the New Jersey State Senate president. He's a Democrat, and he happens to agree with Governor Christie in large part on the need to reform these pensions. There's some disagreement between the two of you in terms of payments that need to be made into the pension fund. But I want to start with teeing up this problem, Steve, because the New Jersey is facing billions of dollars of shortfall, I should say, if you don't get something done to reform the pensions. And it's not just New Jersey, it's several states in the union right now. And the unions object to the proposed fixes because they say the state cut a deal years ago, and they want you and Governor Christie to live up to that deal. Why are they wrong?
Well, listen, I'm not going to say they're wrong, Megyn. There are some issues here. You know, the state has to make their payments towards the pension, too. The governor made a comment. You know, the governor and I had advanced pension reform early this year, things I believe strongly in, and we need to continue to reform the pension system. But when the governor says, well, I'm not going to put any more money in the pension system because it's broke, well, does that make it any better? You know, if we're asking employees to pay more, if we're going to ask everyone to step up, the disagreement right now with the governor and myself is it can't be a one-way street. You can't ask everyone to kick in more and then you not pay any more and make the problem worse.
But even though you say you support these reforms he's proposing, and just so our viewers know, they include repealing an increase in benefits that was approved years ago, eliminating automatic cost of living adjustments to these pensions, raising the retirement age from 65 from 60, and reducing pension payouts for many future retirees, and also requiring some employees to contribute more to their pensions. That's what Chris Christie wants to do, which he says will save the pensions. He says if you don't make these reforms, the pensions are going bye-bye. So it's not really going to work to the advantage of the unions to do nothing. And you are holding these up, I guess, because you say Governor Christie needs to deposit billions of dollars into the pension fund. And he says, look, let's just get these reforms in place, and then we'll go from there.
Christine, Megyn, the problem is that when we did the first pension reforms, the governor, in a good faith effort with me, and again, I'm a conservative Democrat labor leader, that advanced pension reform, the governor made a deal. And all of a sudden he started backing off the deal of making payments. He knew the budget was going to be bad next year. We know the economy's in trouble. So in order for us to move forward, you know, you have to honor your commitments. It was his signature on that legislation just 6 months ago to make the payment. And then he says, well, I'll make the payment if the economy, you know, doesn't get worse. Well, we know it's getting worse. So, you know, that's
I hear you.
where
I
there's a
follow
problem.
because we're a little deep in the weeds for, I think, our national viewers who don't follow New Jersey politics that closely. You want him to make a payment in the pension fund, and he's saying maybe I will, maybe I won't. I want to talk about the reforms themselves, because the unions don't want these. They do want their cost of living adjustment on their pension. They don't want the employees to have to pay more into the pensions. The average retired teacher in New Jersey now is collecting about between $3,000 and $4,000 a month. And Chris Christie is saying that check is going away unless we make reforms. Do you agree with him on that?
Oh, I absolutely agree that we have to adjust how much the workers are paying, but again, it's not a one-way street, Christie.
Well, you keep jumping to the two-way street. Let's just stay on the one-way. Let's just stay on the First Avenue of the street first, because you're a union guy and a Democrat and a fiscal conservative, you say. So let me get you to speak to the unions out there. Do they need to accept compromises like the ones that Chris Christie has proposed?
They need to accept compromises, but they also could do it at the collective bargaining table. The contracts are up. He's not even attempting to go negotiate these things. You know, every governor in the state of New Jersey has negotiated with these unions. The legislature is always there to go to. He could easily sit down and start negotiating contracts, and why he's not willing to do that, and why he's trying to sidetrack it and come to us first. You know, again, I am a labor person.
Is it because he's not getting the feedback from the unions, you know, that he needs? Is it because the unions aren't budging? They don't want to quit. You heard that teacher. That's the attitude a lot of people have, which is, I want my money. period.
Listen, the governor and I went through a big fight with a lot of the same unions, and we accomplished our goal legislatively. It still doesn't mean you ignore the process. I believe in collective bargaining, and he has a responsibility to attempt to do his job like every governor before him did. He can always come to him.
But my question, Steve, is that the unions have not really been that reasonable. That's how you guys got into this position, promising them all sorts of, great benefits that the state cannot live up to. I mean, I think maybe he realizes accurately that that's like banging your head against a brick wall.
No, that's not fair. The legislature, there's so much blood on everyone's hands on what happened in New Jersey. And not to get into the weeds, but everybody to get reelected gave everybody what they wanted. And it was wrong. And you got benefits without funding them. And again, as someone that understands pensions, you can't do that. But you just can't say it's going to be hard, it's going to be difficult. Governor Christie is a tough guy. He's got a tough skin. He works hard. Why is he afraid? Make the effort. He knows he has a partner that's willing to work with him and is not afraid to stand up to people and tell them they're wrong.
All right, Steve Sweeney, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate getting your perspective on it. This is a